Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmaeil Baghaei has responded through state media. He said Iran and Oman will develop a mechanism for the strait and we will exchange views with other countries when necessary. And it has been agreed to return maritime traffic to normal in a certain period of time. Mohamed Vall is joining us now live from Tehran. That traffic, of course, going through the strait is going to benefit Iran as well because it has been trying to get many of his tankers and its oil through the strait with some difficulty. What is Iran saying about this? Are we getting any sort of feedback from the government and from the people about how they're viewing this deal?
Well, we know how they were viewing this deal from the statements before even this announcement today, or this the revealing of this memorandum of understanding in its official form. Because they were aware of it, they know what it is going to give them, what they were going to get out of it, and so they were very positive about it, saying that even in this first phase, Iran will now begin to ship its oil across the world, across open seas. Which is the first result, the first benefits of this memorandum of understanding, of this whole understanding with the Americans. That's one thing. And then after the end of the 60 days and when a final deal is signed, there will be the beginning of the lifting of sanctions on Iran, something they didn't even dream of before this war started. So they are talking very positively about what Iran is getting out of this deal. Also, I have to point out something that he said, something interesting about the Strait of Hormuz. He said regarding the Strait of Hormuz, he said this is our own responsibility, the facilitation of the sailing of ships and the resumption of the traffic in Hormuz is going to be our responsibility, and only we will carry it out. There will be no need for participation or intervention from other parties. Remember that in the last couple of days, the Europeans announced that they were ready to send ships to the Strait of Hormuz to participate in the demining and the opening of the strait for international traffic. The Iranians are saying, no, this is something that Iran can do, and nobody else is needed to help with it. So that gives you an idea about how Iran looks at the Strait of Hormuz itself and its fears and concerns that this participation by Europeans or by other countries in the demining or other operations to facilitate traffic will mean probably the beginning of a shared responsibility or a kind of shared control over the Strait of Hormuz. Iran doesn't want that. It wants only to coordinate with the Omanis, and then after the signing of the final deal, their eye is on that phase they've been talking about, the collecting of fees for services they say they will be providing from that time on.
Let's look ahead to the possibility of a second stage of negotiations, particularly around Iran's nuclear program. Things are different compared to what it was like back in 2015 when the JCPOA was agreed with the Obama administration. At that time, I think Iran had enriched about 20% of its uranium. Now it's got about 60% enriched uranium, although arguably much of that is buried under the rubble. But it has demonstrated, of course, that it can close the Strait of Hormuz. How much confidence do you think, are you getting a sense of in Iran about the way that the government, the way the Iranians are going to be approaching this second stage?
Well, they seem to be very confident. We don't have recent statements after this announcement of the details of the Memorandum of Understanding, but I mean, we know what they have been saying all along. There is a consistency in the way they say they are going to approach that phase. They think that Iran is going to be a winner out of that negotiation, because the fact that they have pledged again not to produce a nuclear weapon is not something new they are saying here. Iran has always been saying that it never had any intention or the intention to produce nuclear weapons. So they don't look at that as a concession. Yes, there is the reduction of the level of enrichment. That's something that they are clearly saying there will be a compromise about it. They are bracing for it. So this is a cost of probably the cost of, or the price Iran has to pay for this peace to be established. Yes, they will agree to reduce the amount of enrichment, but on the other hand, they will not agree to allow the nuclear stockpiles that they have of the uranium to be transported outside Iran. That's something that the Americans from day one of this war were talking about. They're going to get that stockpile of uranium, get it out of Iran, And that's something that Iranians have always been refusing, and they got what they wanted there. So they are happy with that situation right now.
Mohamed, thank you very much indeed. Mohamed Vall there talking to us from Tehran.